Right, we'll get the meeting underway. We have some guests tonight that we will hear from shortly, who are candidates for various party offices. Aside from that, I do not see any other guests on our list. Everyone else is a member or alternate. So with that, Karen Rogers, would you be willing to read the land acknowledgement once Tom brings it up?
Okay. We pause to acknowledge the Solano County Democratic Central Committee of the Democratic Party sits on the land of the Miwok and Patton people. We remember their continued connection to this region and give thanks to them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and pray in their traditional homeland. We offer our respect to their elders and the Miwok and Patton people of the past and present.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We do have a quorum. So with that, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the March minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for March?
So moved. This is Tom Dolbo.
Paula, I'll second it. I also just got a notice that the recording stopped. And it's back on.
Okay, if the recording didn't catch it, Tom Bilbo made the motion to approve the minutes and Paula Bauer seconded. Are there any changes to the minutes that anyone wishes to put forward? If not, we can launch the poll.
Has everyone voted? Looks like it. We've got 16 of 18, so I think that's correct. Going to go ahead and end the poll. 10 seconds, be a minute. Minutes are approved.
Right, thank you. Next up, tonight's agenda. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? I'm not seeing any hands, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So this is Paula, so moved.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Corey. Penrose, all those in favor, please vote. All right, folks, remember to vote early and often. Are we close, Tom?
Minute just passed, so there we go.
Excellent.
Agenda approved.
All right, thank you all. Tonight, we will be hearing from, or we're scheduled to hear from a number of candidates who are running for state party offices. I will say that Diana Love reached out to me earlier. She's will try to be in at some point. We may have to take her out of order because she is, as you might imagine, bouncing between several meetings this evening, as I suspect many of our candidates are. So with that, the first candidate on my list who was gracious enough to arrive early as instructed in the agenda, Ms. Carolyn Fowler, candidate for CDP Controller. And with that, I'm allowing a total of 6 minutes for presentation and Q&A for each candidate. So, Tom, can you keep time on the candidates?
Yes.
All right. So any time that you don't use in your presentation, we'll leave for Q&A. And with that, take it away.
Great, thank you. Well, greetings. I'm happy to be here in Solano. I saw some of you on the Central Committee meeting. Carolyn Fowler, candidate for CDP Controller. I'm also your DNC member and also chair of the Women's Caucus and stepping down from the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. A little about me. I'm originally from a strong family, labor family, Detroit, Michigan. My mom was AFSCME, my dad, UAW. I'm currently IAM, a machinist, 1932, local 1932. But the thing that impacts my value system is I understood that those good middle class wages and benefits allowed my sister and I to graduate from college debt free and achieve the American dream of home ownership. And so I will always fight to protect those values. For many years, I've worked on issues impacting women, the LGBT community, disability community, seniors, rural broadband, and young people with an emphasis on education. I'm currently a government affairs advisor for a school board member at LAUSD. I've also been extremely active in the election protection and voting systems arena. Currently appointed by our LA County Registrar to sit on the Voting Systems for All People committee. I served externally. I've served as director for the 11 Western states for AT&T, doing a lot of the training for the officers. I've also been a chief operating officer. Oh, we had a budget probably about $23 million. I've also served as a chief financial officer for the Smiley Group, talk show host Pavis Smiley, radio, TV, publishing, and events. That budget was about 17 million, give or take a few. I've served in the party. I sat there as many, if you have some newbies. I started right there with you. Then I became a club president. I've been an officer at LA County Democratic Party. I mentioned my other current titles. So all these experiences, what I want to do is take these from the government, the business world, the nonprofit sector, and this very party to ensure that our finances align with our platform and values. I want to ensure that every member of this party is represented as well. And so with those experiences, I believe I'm fully prepared for the challenges ahead with your support. These goals are really within our reach. The role of because of campaign finance, the staff pretty much takes care of the day-to-day on the finance piece because of the critical reporting that has to take place, the very specific reporting that has to take place. I plan, as chair of the finance committee, to ensure that the resources that we do have are intended as the body wishes to support our organizing, which is why we have started as you know, year-round organizing. Many of you have probably met your organizer for your region, but we know that that's not enough. We also need additional staff. The staff we have works very hard, but I know they could use some additional support as well as probably an increase in pay. That being said, I'm asking people that have some creativity and understand the fundraising aspects to join me on the standing committee, or when we have a application out now to join. But you don't have to have your ideas, just you don't have to be on the finance committee to have ideas. And so I welcome any suggestions about that. We had a report of almost 2 years ago of how we're spending our money, what money we're taking, what money we're not taking. I think it's time to reassess that. So I believe that through our good friend Zoom, I'll be holding some sessions, some town hall sessions together from around the state, where we are. I'll give a report on where we are and take in feedback on what you think we should be doing. I also plan to have a special one for rural, though. I've heard a lot of good ideas on my tour around the state, and I think that they're just not being shared, and some great ones on how we can build better and do more outreach. The Women's Caucus last month for Women's History Month, we were kind of like a pilot. We had a fundraising event for the party. We were very successful. We had about 300 people, and half of them were from out from the community. I do believe we're too internally focused, and we need to do more outreach in that manner. And as a result of that event, we asked some of those same people to volunteer at convention. So some of the volunteers at convention were coming from that Women's Caucus event. It was held in LA. That's how we build and how we keep people engaged. I'd like to see us use some of the content that we have, monetize that possibly, to gain some more resources. I also want to look at some of grants to possibly support some of the work that we want to do in our various communities. Don't laugh, but I talk about Chatham TV, featuring some of you, telling your stories about why you're a Democrat, why you're fighting every day to save our democracy and for the values we all want. So I'm going to stop there. I will put my information in the chat, more information about me, but I really would like to time for some questions and to be able to answer and to see what you're thinking. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And Tom, how much time do we have left?
Actually, that was time.
Okay. Well, please, everyone, if you have a question from Ms. Fowler, please submit it in chat, and hopefully she can stick around and answer them in the chat for you. Otherwise, we'll try to email them off and get those answers for you. So thank you so much. All right.
Watch the chat. Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will have those questions go to you in chat. Do not see.
My closing remarks will be, I would love to have your support and vote at the convention, and look forward to seeing you there.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I do not see Ms. Love or Ms. Torres at this time. So Jeff Gertson, I saw you here. So if you're ready, again, same rules, 6 minutes total. So ideally, leave a little bit of time for Q&A. And with that, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Kurtzen. I am former chair of Contra Costa. I've met several of you through some of the work, meeting at convention, and basically traveling around the area. I've been to a couple of the crab feeds too. It was a lot of fun. I am running for regional director for Region 3. That is the new region. For many of you, it's pretty much the same as what you had before. In Contra Costa, we swap 8014 for 8016. But other than that, the northern part is pretty much the same. As a regional director on my website at jeffkurtzen.com, my name is kind of hard to spell. You can see it written down on the screen there. I go over the what I call the 4 C's of regional leadership. And for the first thing is communicate, because I honestly think that a lot of delegates, a lot of people are a little frustrated that we don't often hear enough from the state party. And I want to be able to make sure that that communication is going out. And sometimes it's it's not necessarily the fault of the regional director that some information hasn't come out, because they oftentimes send out the information that they're given. We just need to make sure that the state party is communicating often, and that they need to be telling us what's going on, not telling us a week before deadlines, not telling us, some information that oftentimes it's too late. So thank you so much for that, Tom. He posted my link in the chat. The second part of the 4 C's is collaborate. We have a lot of people across the region that are doing exactly the same thing. We have people doing fundraising. We have people preparing for endorsements and elections. We have clubs that want to get speakers and just figure out how to build the club or get young people involved. Some people have been through this. Some people have solved some of these problems. So the issue is to bring people together and have communication. I think that what I would like to do is actually have regular meetings, virtual meetings between chairs across the county, or clubs, or people that are doing Mo, for example. Mo training, they oftentimes will do it at convention, and then that and I haven't even seen information about Mo at convention for a while. So we need to have people get together and share some of that information. The rest of it, coaching council, that is something that regional directors often do. But then the last part, the champion. I believe that the regional director needs to be a champion for the Democrats in the district back to the state. The definition in the bylaws of the regional director is that the regional director is a liaison to the clubs and to the committees. It doesn't mention ADEMS, which to me is an oversight. The regional director is the regional director for the ADEMS as well. But my feeling is not that it's not a liaison necessarily just to the committees, but it needs to be a liaison for the committee, for the clubs, for the ADEMS, back to the state, and make sure that they know what our issues are, make sure that they understand what's going on the ground. So, because they often don't know in some of the rural areas or in some other areas that are outside of their expertise, what's going on. So I want to be part of that. I want to make sure that we are all communicating, collaborating, and it really is, I want to take the bureaucracy out of the process so that we can actually get to doing things like electing Democrats in some of our more rural areas, electing Democrats that support our values across the entire region. And I will end with that and ask, I have been a delegate to the state party for about 12 years since I moved here. So.
All right, Tom, how much time do we have left?
1 minute.
Okay, so are there any questions for Jeff? Put your hand up, please. All right, Monica Brown.
Yeah,
your
sorry.
question.
Yeah, sorry I was late, got caught up at work. Jeff, real fast, I really want to work with you. Should you get elected with school board, that is where the Republicans are aiming.
Mhm.
And, everything like that. So I like that idea. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It is absolutely, that's the kind of thing that I think that we also need to collaborate on. We have school boards across the state that are having the same problem, and some have actually fought them back. Others have, poo-pooed it and said, no, that's not going to happen. In San Ramon here in Contra Costa, we had a Tea Party MAGA person take over, and now he's trying to get rid of LGBTQ in the schools, not just the books. He doesn't want the word to be said. It just is frustrating. And so, yeah, we need to share that information, and we need to know how to work together and fight this.
A
this
follow-up
time-
to the chair?
Are we out
I'm-
of time, Tom?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. If you would
Alright.
throw that question into the chat, Monica,
I shall. Thank you, Chair. Jeff,
appreciate it. For those of you who are concerned, the current score is 19-17 Sacramento over Golden State, with 5 minutes left in the first.
And you can pull me off Spotlight.
Yeah, hold on.
All right. I do not see our other two candidates with us at the moment. So we'll move on for now. And if they do join us, we will shift from the regular order and give them the opportunity to speak. But thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Carolyn. Now up, next on the agenda is public comment. 2 minutes for our guests to speak. I will go ahead and open public comment at 7:25. Does anyone have anything, any of our guests? I'm not seeing any hands. So close, Julia Russell Thomas, I see your hand.
Is this announcements? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
No, it was public comment.
Oh,
Announcements will be shortly.
okay. Then I lower.
All right. Well,
Don,
I
Gracie.
see her.
Okay.
But first, I'm going to go ahead and close our public comment at 7:25, since I saw no other hands. And our next candidate is here. I just saw her. Gracie Torres. Get spotlight her.
Miss Torres, oh, there is your camera. Okay, now I can spotlight.
And Gracie Torres is a candidate for CDP secretary. You have a total of 6 minutes between your presentation and any Q&A, so feel free to begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gracie Torres. I'm so happy to be with you today, Democrats. There are a few reasons why I'm running. Just a little bit about me. I'm a water chemist. I have been a water chemist for over a decade now. I've done everything from tested in the test tube all the way to receiving federal grant funding for stormwater projects. I am elected to my water board, was elected in 2018, re-elected in 2022, and I have been successful in those races. I'm running, and I have always held these principles: transparency, second, workforce development, and third, getting Democrats elected at every level of governance. When I talk about transparency in this role, as I'm traveling up and down the state and making phone calls, I keep hearing people concerned about not being able to pull up minutes, knowing what a delegate does, or the ADEM process was so complicated. And those are the type of things I want to streamline. One of the first things I did on the water board was fix our accessibility policies. The second is workforce development. I am a daughter of labor. I was raised in labor, and I'm a part of SEIU 721. And I want to make sure that the party and labor work hand in hand so that we're not running opposing candidates. And then lastly, what really matters to me is that Democrats are elected or appointed at every level of governance. And in my time in office, I have ran over 36 candidates. I have recruited, trained, and ran 36 candidates by myself. And this is where the party needs to add more support to our central committees, as well as our clubs so that we can make sure that the Republicans that are coming after our values get stopped at the door. We all know, I have 3 children, and right now the Republicans have a dialed in focus to take over our school boards. I'm afraid every day for my kids, 1, for their safety, because we cannot figure out our gun control laws, and 2, because of these policies that are attacking our children. Here in Riverside County, 2 school boards were flipped to Republican. I happened to run one of those candidates and saw the awful vitriol that they were spewing. Homophobic, racist, anti-women, anti-choice rhetoric that is hurting our children, where I believe democracy starts at these school boards. I'm very proud of the work I've done, and I want to push it up to the state. We need to have Democrats elected and appointed at every level: commissions, boards, special districts, all the way up to the legislator. I truly believe that a state legislator, even though they're doing great things in Sacramento and DC, their laws fall flat if there is no local buy-in. If there is not a school board that is upholding democratic values and defending our values, then the laws that happen in passing Sacramento fall flat. And that's all across the board, and the environment, reproductive rights. And so I've done this work. I want to continue doing this work. I have experience as a secretary. I am a product of Young Democrats. So shout out to all my Young Democrats in the crowd today. I was in a Young Democrat for a week before I applied to run for office. I am someone that jumps in when the time is needed. And that's one of the things that you're gonna hear about me from my opponent, is that, I do several things, and I do, but that's because I deliver, and I deliver because I'm a woman there is too much to lose not to be involved. And so I'm happy to be here and happy to take questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. How much time is up, Tom?
2 minutes.
Okay. Are there any questions from Ms. Torres? Michelle Pellegrin, your hand's up.
Yeah, thanks, Don. I just am really glad to hear people talking about school boards and local organizing. I think it's so important. So my question is, what would you do or what are your thoughts about what could be done to help counter this? I can't hear you.
You appear to be on mute.
I'm too passionate about it. Very, very passionate about this specific topic. In 2022, I ran 3 school board candidates, 3 women of color, one of which was a doctor in psychiatry. And the things that I was seeing from the Republican right, I don't know, and here in Riverside County, there was a church, it's called 412 Church, that basically said, stop paying tithing and put money into this PAC. And that PAC is going straight to attack school boards. And so really what matters is that we get more resources on the ground where it matters. There's organizers, there's activists that are daily working on making sure that these school boards are not being attacked, and we need to support them on the ground. The party can help with that. I have felt the frustration of, just like I said, in 2022, aside from my own race, 3 candidates for school board, and we were fighting every single day against, like I said, homophobic, racist rhetoric that are lies. And so what we need is support. We need support on the ground, and that's where I think it begins. Our central committees, our clubs need support in order to fight back against this. That is what Republicans are doing, and that's what we need to be doing.
Thank you. How's our time, Tom?
7 seconds.
Okay. Well, I guess with
Thank you
that,
all. Visit votegracie.com.
all right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you feel free to drop in your contact information in the chat for our members, we would appreciate that. And I still do not see Ms. Love in our audience. So with that, we'll go on to announcements, and I'm assuming, Julia, your hand will be up.
It is up.
So feel free.
Okay, so I just want to let everybody know that Mike Silva's having his kickoff fundraiser on Friday. It's going to be some awesome barbecue. We're gonna have some salsa dancing, and then his son Giovanni has been practicing doing auction stuff. So he's gonna auction off the desserts. It's gonna be adorable. So I'll drop the link in the chat for the payment and the event flyer. Thanks.
Are there any other announcements? If so, please raise your hand. Looking, I don't see any announcements, so moving on to our treasurer's report. Paula. Oh, Tom, your hand's up.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to remind people that the price of the barbecue tickets go up at the end of April. So if you want to get barbecue tickets, now's the time to get it.
Okay. And with that, Paula, you're up for the treasurer's report.
Okay, well, you all should have gotten the written report, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have about $5,600 in the bank. We were finally able, yay, to cash the double good check from the fall of 2021. Lots of people paying dues and some people buying barbecue tickets. So we're good. The links are still there to pay your dues. Only about half of you have paid, and I'm really kind of tired of harassing you for it. So just do it. Thank you. Tom,
Thank
you have a
you.
question for me, or is your hand still up?
I guess his hand was still up.
Sorry.
No worries. I will reiterate what our treasurer said about paying your dues. We don't want to be in the position of telling people they can't vote next month. So just, pull out your credit card, go to ActBlue, take care of it. I also want to thank Paula and Tiffany and everyone who got their information together with the double good and submitted it so we could finally cash that check and reimburse some expenditures that had been hanging out there. So thanks to everyone who stepped up and gave us the information we need. And I will just add that that whole experience should be a reminder to us that we're best served by collecting the needed reporting information up front instead of trying to chase after it later. With that, other reports. Let's see, trying to think what all I've done this month. I've attended some of our club meetings. We had a very successful Trans Day of Visibility that was hosted by Solano Pride. And I want to thank all of my fellow Central Committee members who attended that. A number of trainings and regional meetings that have been going on in preparation for the state convention. Want to remind everyone that the deadline, if you are a delegate, the deadline to pre-register is May 1st. To do that online. Afterwards, you'll have to do it at the convention. And you do not want to wait until the convention to register. Not unless you really, really, really like standing in line. Those of you who were delegates should have also received communication from the party that the signups for the various standing committees is now open. I believe that the deadline for that is June 1st. I would encourage you to look into signing up for one or more of the standing committees if you want to becoming ever more engaged with the state party. Information is available in those emails. If you did not get that, please send me an email at chair@solanodemocrats.com. We will forward out the communication that came from the party on that. I have some other news that I will share when we talk about our barbecues, but setting that aside, Vernil, do you have a report as Northern Vice Chair?
Only as Northern Vice Chair, I just want to mention, because my report is also on the fundraiser, but I just want to remind people that May is Older American Awareness Month. We're trying to make Solano an age-friendly county. We have, I'm the chair of the Area Agency on Aging in Solano County and Napa. And we have letters out to our elected officials, asking them to proclaim May as Older American Month. So I just want to remind everyone that our generation is getting older, and we also want to live with dignity in our own homes and healthcare. So that's all I have for this part.
All right, thank you for that. Corey, do you have anything to report as secretary?
Yeah, probably everyone I'm sure saw the draft member roster, which I sent out a day or two ago. I've been working with a couple of you just over the chat and having you edit the document in the background. Jerry, I caught yours. Jeanette, I caught yours. So as far as I know, I think that's everything. Thanks, Paul, for the feedback. Please take a look at that document. Probably the easiest way to affect the changes we need is if you see any errors, let me know and I can drop an edit link inside the chat to you. So you can go through and make the edits. Jack was just doing that as well. So yeah, that should be everything. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, and I will just add to that we, Corey and Tom and I put together the roster based on those of you who answered the survey that went out earlier this year and available information from the previous roster. And in a couple of cases, what we could find on PDI. So if your information is not correct and up to date, please let us know and correct it so that we have the latest and greatest information for all of you. And again, I appreciate all the work that Corey and Tom did on compiling that roster. And up next, Information Resource Officer. Anything to report?
Good evening, Democrats. So just real quick, we did have a change of ISP for the Solano County Democratic Party website, but it had originally been hosted gratefully by Joe Summers, but we have brought it under a different umbrella so that we can have that. And that did cause one little snag overnight of some emails bouncing. So sorry for that. Unfortunately, I asked when it was going to happen and never got a response on as far as when it was going to happen, but we did catch it quickly and the emails have been coming through fine since then. So thank you for putting up with some frustration over that. And that is it. But again, I did put a link in chat to the barbecue fundraiser webpage. Go there and buy your tickets, and we will be also publishing a online auction page, thanks to all the work that Pat Toth Smith is doing for that. So look forward to that, and also look forward to you guys checking out the goods because Pat's got some good stuff.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that report. Looking at our various elected officials, Jerry, as Congressman Thompson, you submitted a report earlier in the month. Did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, what I'd like to ask is, does that report seem adequate for everyone? The fact that it's actually a March report, would you rather have some part of April coming in the late April report? Because it's kind of seems like it's like maybe a month kind of late. How does that feel with you guys? Do you want a little more current, few weeks into this month, and then receive it, or what do you guys think?
I'll just speak for myself. I personally would prefer something a little closer to the meeting date, but
Yeah,
let other people speak. Paula, your hands up.
Me too. More current stuff. It's
All
good
right.
report though, and I appreciate it, Jerry. Thank you.
sure. I'll definitely get with them, and we'll see how we can get that going. I know prior when I was Cecilia's, it would come in that week of the meeting. So sure, I'll definitely look into that just to get something more current. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't see any representatives for Congressman Garamendi, Senator Dodd, or Assembly Member Wilson. If anyone is speaking for them, please raise your hand. Don't see any hands up. So with that, Supervisor Brown, anything you wish to report?
We're working on the budget and I wish us all luck. I can hardly wait for the May revise.
All right.
It's going to be scary next year, guys.
Nice and succinct. Appreciate that report. And Amber Williams gave us the report from Supervisor Williams earlier today. You should have all received it in your mail. So thank you for submitting your report in writing. I appreciate that. Moving on to our clubs. I don't see anyone for the Community Democratic Club. Is anyone here able to speak for them? So raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. Let's see which the next club, Sankofa Democratic Club. I did not receive a report from you. Is there anyone here to speak for that club? Seeing none. Solano Democratic Workers Alliance. Glenn, I saw you here earlier, so do you have a report to give?
Yeah, I'll just give a brief report. Thank you, Chair. Glenn Lovell, President of Solano Democratic Workers Alliance. Continued preparations, of course, from our members in preparation for the CDP convention of some involvement on resolutions, people starting to look through where potential committee and caucus advocacy could be of great use for them in the next month. They are largely anticipating being able to work on several issues through the convention, and we are also having our Solidarity Caucus tomorrow, which will be a pretty good session talking about areas of more mutual interest between workers and the party. And other than that, those are primary items, more action items coming up on next month. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Appreciate it. Stonewall, do you have a report to give?
Yes. Hold on. Where did Glenn go? Need to remove the spotlight. But anyway, yeah, real quick, we are having a meeting tomorrow night if you care to join us. And that is pretty much it for right now. We have some more plans coming out for the summer. Of course, Pride Month is coming up, and so we're working with other groups. We will be co-hosting a Pride picnic on Alden Park with a couple other groups, Solano AIDS Coalition and the Vallejo Gay Network. So if you are around, please come to that. That is going to be June 11th. So please join us, and we'll have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. And I believe the rest of the clubs have submitted their reports in writing. If any of the other clubs have anything they wish to add, please raise your hand now. Matthew.
Thank you so much, Don. So I'm Matthew Finkelstein. I'm president of the Jewish Democratic Club of Solano County. I just want to say that we have the JPAC conference coming up, and we're going to learn about the legislative priorities of JPAC, and we're hoping that we can affect a real interface through both the county and our club. And so JPAC, it's the voice of California's Jewish community at the state capitol. It's one of the largest gatherings of concentrated Jewish political organization in the state of California, largest donor body, largest group of activists. And their agendas include like the safety and protection of the Jewish community, as well as other historically vulnerable communities. And this year, there's also a very special attention to environmental causes and going green and backing all kinds of initiatives. So we look forward to being at the state capitol and learning more about that and creating new ways to interface with Solano and seeing if we can't create cooperative efforts going forward. In addition, today is Yom Ha'atzmaut, which is a mouthful. It's just one way to say that it's Israeli Independence Day. And this is a day where we commemorate the anniversary of Israel's birthday, its victory in the Independence War, where there were more than 5 Arab countries who collaborated to try and wipe Israel off the map, and yet it was able to survive. It's a modern miracle. Despite all the troubles, I just also want to say, in my capacity as president of the Jewish Democratic Club, that we stand in solidarity with the protesters of the state and in solidarity with liberal democracies everywhere. And we look forward to a healing between Israel and a future with the Democratic Party and peace with Israel and Palestine.
Thank you. And if I remember correctly, I guess it's appropriate to say happy 75th birthday. I've got my anniversary correct.
Right.
Karen with the Rio Vista Democratic Club.
I would like to say thank you to all who have committed to joining us tomorrow night with Fiona Ma, but I also wanted to put one last shout out for that program. Although we do have quite an extensive reservation list, we still have a few reservations available. So if you'd like to come out and hear the state treasurer and pursue what she's going to do with our deficit that we have, please come on out to Rio Vista, and you can contact me at 314-313-0033, and I'll put it in the chat. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Moving on to our committee reports, I do not see our parliamentarian with us, so that takes us to the fundraising committee. And Vernil, I guess that would be you again.
I guess so. Good evening again. I just want to say that all our permits are in order and approved. So we're moving forward. The date is May 20th, Saturday, May 20th at Allenwood Park. Some of the needs that we need volunteers, but I'll get to that. But I want to just give special thanks to the committee, Julia, Tom, Don, Marge, Pat. They've all just stood up and making things happen. I really appreciate them. But we're looking for volunteers in areas such as the registration, auctions, and servers. Chasol is our caterer. And I'm looking into environmentally friendly plates. She says that she has access to them. So we're discussing it, but I know there's a cost differential in that. But we are looking into that. I have asked Burgette to help find us a keynote speaker or someone maybe running from the Senate like Barbara Lee or Katie Porter or someone, but someone that's a draw from the Senate for the 2024 election. Also, we have to keep Solano blue, and that's what this is all about, is for us to make sure we have the right candidates and the right elected officials to serve us. I think that's about it that I have. If you have any art or baked goods, for the art, you'll see Pat, and for baked goods, Marge is the coordinators over that. I don't know if I forgot anything, but that's basically what I have. Don?
All right, thank you. And I apologize to Vernil. I'm an exercise chair's prerogative and kept this to myself until now, but we do have our first speaker booked, my former boss, the former state controller and candidate for governor, Betty Yee, has agreed to appear. So we have at least one named speaker at our barbecue, and we're working on others. She responded today, so I decided to hold on to it until tonight. So
I'm excited.
I want to echo Vernil. My thanks to everyone who's worked so hard putting this together. Your patience and your dedication working on this to pull it together. looks like it will be an enjoyable event. Now, all you need to do is buy your tickets, convince your friends, neighbors, coworkers, people you can barely stand, buy their tickets as well, so that we sell out and have plenty of money to fight the election in 2024. With that, I want to move on to our ad hoc committees, unless anyone has any other questions on the fundraiser. And first up, our club coordination committee, and Jeannie has the floor to talk about her very exciting project.
Good evening to all of my fellow Central Committee colleagues. It's nice to see all of you. I am really grateful for the opportunity to talk a little bit about this newest, I would call it a venture and an effort that I am working on in partnership with our club amazing secretary, Nancy Federley, who has helped me to put together a really beautiful flyer that we asked all of the clubs in the Central Committee to participate in, giving me information about something that is interesting, exciting, that is newsworthy, that you would like to share with the rest of the clubs in the Central Committee. And I would really like to say a special thank you to the United Dems of Southern Solano, the Progressive Dems of Benicia, the Rio Vista Democratic Club, the Jewish Democratic Club, and the Northern Solano Democratic Club for contributing information for our first flyer that should have come out. I'm trying to think if it came out today or if it came out yesterday. Would really like to encourage all the clubs to participate in this venture, because I think it's a really wonderful way for everyone in the Central Committee to know something great that's happening with other clubs in the Central Committee. I think it will give us a better feeling for just kind of cohesiveness, and at least the understanding that there's great progressive stuff going on all over Solano County. And I think this is an easy way for our club to, or our Central Committee to participate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually connect with all of the leaders of the clubs, probably the first week of each month, and ask that they get information to me by the 20th of the month so that we can put together our flyer and have it to all of you before the Central Committee meeting. So as I said, thanks so much to those who have already participated this month, and I'm hoping that we will have even more participation in the months to follow. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Jeannie. And well, that has gone out to our club representatives. We will be sending that out to all the members after the meeting. And again, encourage you to encourage your various clubs to participate in that project moving forward so that we hear from all of our clubs. Paula, your hand's up.
Yeah, it's a lovely flyer, Jeannie. I was just wondering if we would use that instead of the individual club reports to the Central Committee, because it looks a lot better and maybe people would be more likely to read them. Just a thought.
Our clubs are supposed to be reporting on their activities on a regular basis. So, but we can certainly talk about it at the board, whether that would be a satisfactory substitute. But in that case, that would put the pressure on all of the clubs to submit to the flyer. But it's a good idea, Paul. Thank you. Next, our legislation committee. Bonnie, I believe I saw you on the list, so if we can get you spotlighted for your report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. I did submit a written report. However, I would like to ask folks who signed up for the committee, if you no longer want to be on the committee, please let me know. Please email me. And if there's anyone else who wants to be on the committee, please email me and let me know so I can include you. I mean, essentially, I think there might be people who signed up for the committee who just want to be involved in the information, but it would be nice if we see your face at the committee meetings. And then I just want to remind folks that the legislative session is moving quickly. I think things will go for floor vote for the first house at the end of May, beginning of June. So the session will move quickly. So just want to let folks know. Thank you.
Right. Does anyone have any questions for Bonnie or the legislation committee? Not seeing any hands. So moving on to our outreach committee and Julia Ralston-Thomas.
Hey, everybody. So we did have our first meeting. It was a really successful meeting and we are very excited for going forward. We're going to be putting together a list of organizations that we can team up with for certain events. So if you have anybody that you can think of, just let me know. And basically what we'd like to have is have talked to this organization to see if they actually want to team up with us. Then the other thing we were looking into is a budget for our committee for any outreach efforts, tabling, etc. But in order to do that budget, we need to know what's in our storage unit. So if anybody has access to that, an itemized list or can get us access so we can put together an itemized list, I'd appreciate it. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Julia or the outreach committee? Or comments for that matter? Checking, I'm not seeing any hands. All right, before I move on to business, actually, no, let me go ahead and take care of business first. It was discussed at our e-board meeting, the possibility of having our May Central Committee meeting in person so that we can meet and discuss items prior to the convention and swap phone numbers and plan and all that fun stuff. So with that discussion, I thought we decided to bring it to the membership. What is your preference? Would you like to meet in person? In which case we would attempt to book the event center where we were meeting pre-pandemic. Mar, would you prefer to continue in Zoom? So thoughts, feelings, opinions? Julia, your hands first.
Yeah, if you would like me to attend a meeting, I can't do it in person.
Fair enough. Any other thoughts? Monica.
Well, the reason I brought this up is that a lot of folks that are going to be attending have not attended, let alone in person. And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on. And so my thought was, while this is good, and I understand with the previous comment, and it does work out if you're running late like me today, but the convention's very, very important. And it's the first time we're meeting. Did we meet last year, the year before? I can't even remember now the last time. Seemed like we were down in Long Beach. Was that where it was? How many years ago was that now? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But
November 2019.
Okay, so it was that long ago. Okay. It's also there's just some sort of just like, for example, when you were buying your ticket for the Saturday night dinner for $150, no, but it might be a way that we can decide just getting together. So that was my thought. So I mean, if you guys don't want to do it, that's understandable, and I get that there's some reasons why people can't meet. I understand, but somehow there is something to be said for occasionally meeting. So that was why I brought it forward.
Okay, Paula, your hand's up next.
So this is probably a question for Tom. Is there any way to do a hybrid, like part Zoom, part live?
We can, yes.
I would be in favor of that Because it's lovely to be out there actually meeting people in the flesh. But I get that a lot of people can't do that, so a hybrid would be great. Thank you.
Tom, your hand's up.
Yeah, I was just gonna, just so we can make sure that the membership understands, there is a cost for hosting it at the event center. Do we know what that would be?
If I may, through the chair, I'll host it, so it doesn't have to cost anything.
If I remember, it was $60 or something to that effect. $60 or $70 per month when we were attempting to meet there, but I'm sure the prices have probably changed since 2019. So we will, but we have been given that information from our supervisors. So if we do wish to meet in person, we could do that. Monica, your hand's up again.
Well, I have to double check and make sure, obviously, it's available. But other than that, which I can do tomorrow, but other than that, you know, I'm happy to pick up the tab through my budget. I'm fine, but budget wise.
Jeff, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I do, for Monica discussing the convention, I do have a CADM 102 training on the convention coming up. It's the same day as your barbecue, so it's right before the barbecue. I also just got my barbecue ticket. I'm happy to discuss the convention with anyone at the barbecue or whatever. So, because I think that that's also another opportunity for the committee to get together and have conversations. So, and it's right 1 week before the convention.
Yep, that is certainly true. Any other hands up? If not, is there a motion? I'm not seeing anyone raise. Monica.
Well, I move that we hold the next scheduled Wednesday meeting, which is right before the convention, using a hybrid method.
I second it.
Okay, I heard Karen Rogers seconded. So I guess we'll label her as a second. Is there any further discussion on this? All right, Tom, if you can prepare a poll.
It's going to be at our regular time, or do we want to leave that open?
I would presume it will be at our regular dates and time.
Okay, so I'll just say it's the May 2023 meeting.
Yeah,
So,
which would be the 24th.
there you go. And for the record, I can't vote because I could not log in on my phone as Stonewall, but and as host, I don't actually get to vote. But I just wanted to say I am in favor.
You go ahead and drop that in the chat just so that it's recorded.
Okay, a minute has expired. If I can get to the button, I will end the poll. There we go. And so it passes.
Okay. We will meet in, those of us who are able to will meet in person in May at the event center. Okay, now a few items of business or future business. I would like to ask for volunteers to prepare resolutions for next month in recognition of both Juneteenth and Pride Month. which will both be happening in June. And since our meeting is at the end of the month, I'd rather pass it ahead of time instead of at the end of the month. So I can get
Don, as the
volunteers.
Stonewall Chair, I'll be sending the resolutions or.
Okay. All right. And can we get a volunteer for Juneteenth?
I'll do it.
Thank you, Vernell. I appreciate that. Okay, and as unfortunate announcement, as Matthew has posted in the chat, Nancy Orpia passed away, I believe it was yesterday. The wife of Mel Orpia. For those of you who know or have known Mel, former member of the Central Committee many years ago, was former president of the Filipino Democratic Club, and of course has worked a long time for Congressman Thompson, and I believe he's currently with Congressman Garamendi. So I would certainly entertain a motion to send either flowers or other appropriate memorial to Mel on behalf of the Central Committee. Monica?
I move that motion to send flowers, and I also just indicated in the chat that we should adjourn in her memory also,
Okay.
but definitely on that. Thank you, guys. She had been ill for a long time, and her teacher.
Okay, is there a
You guys, can someone drop her correct spelling into the chat? Obviously, I want to get this right.
I believe that Matthew has it correct.
I'll second. This is Carrie.
Okay, a motion and a second to send flowers.
Got it. Thank you. So
All those in favor?
You have a
Aye.
poll if you want to.
Oh, okay. If you have the poll, please launch the poll.
So it's to send flowers and a card in condolence to the Orpilla family.
Yes, that sounds appropriate.
Ignore the heading. Sorry for that. And for the record, I'm a yay on that as well. We need seconds left. Five. Okay, motion passes.
All right, thank you all. The one last bit I had, it was announced at the region meeting Monday evening. The Yolo County Democratic Central Committee is having a fundraiser this weekend in Davis, and their guest speaker is former Housing Secretary Julian Castro. So if you wish to go up to Davis and donate generously to them, you can hear him speak. I believe that that information is accessible on their via their Facebook page. From there, you can click to the link for that event. So for those of you who wish to head up to Davis this weekend, feel free. And unless, Tom.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind people again about the barbecue. Please go to our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and on our website and share that to your timelines and share it to your network of friends so that we can get more tickets, because the price does go up on May 1st, I believe. Correct, Paula?
Yes, single tickets go up to $650 or to $60 on the first.
All right. So, final days to buy your ticket at $50. Jump right ahead and do so. Unless anyone has any last minute announcements, I can tell you that at halftime, Golden State's ahead 60-56. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All right. With that, do we need to launch that poll, Tom? I guess we do. And of course, we are adjourning in memory of Nancy. Thank you all. We will see you either tomorrow in Rio Vista or Saturday in Davis or somewhere on the trail. And if not, then we'll see you next month here or at the event center. Have a good evening, everyone. As soon as
We'll see them at the barbecue.
Thank you.
well, that's right. The barbecue will be before our May meeting. So yes, we will see you there.
Okay.
Buy early, buy often, and come and eat.
Hey,
Drink.
hey, Don, do you have those keys to the storage?
I do not.
Thank
Who
you.
does?
I don't know.
Meeting pass, or adjournments pass.
Okay. Bridget, do you know who has the keys?